British ufologist claims he's fighting in a space war for 15-foot aliens against reptilian race. For some reason, people who claim to have had alien encounters said the extraterrestrials shared their knowledge with them. In some cases, the abductees showed the injuries gotten during alien experiments, discussed their spacecraft, the purpose of the visit to Earth, etc. But the story of Russ Kellett is earth-shattering. He says he's a super soldier, quote-unquote, fighting in an intergalactic war and has been abducted at least 60 times. Can you believe this? Russell Kellett, 58-year-old man from Yorkshire. Now, the video before this one has to do with UFOs and ETs of Yorkshire. Over 1,800 cases filed, reported since 2020. And one of the cases that was released under Freedom of Information Act said that someone on their property witnessed a UFO beaming up a woman through the air. And that's a police UFO case. Can you imagine? So, again, this is in Yorkshire. Russ Kellett from Yorkshire has been a UFO investigator for the past 20 years, he says. He's been appearing in a number of television documentaries, as well as numerous television talk shows. He's been investigating the famous Berwyn Mountains UFO incident for almost 30 years. He's also striven to maintain a rigorous standard of scientific detachment to the investigation of UFOs and related phenomena, and calls on the service of several experts in a number of different fields. Kellett, who owned an industrial clothing business in the Carlisle Business Centre in Mannington, left his job and adopted UFO research as his full-time job because of a number of strange sightings. Kellett, alien encounters? The most sensational claim made by Mr. Kellett is that he's been fighting in an intergalactic war for 15-foot aliens since he was 28 years old, and next he says he's been abducted no less than 60 times. And Metro writes, the first time was when I, Kellett says, was 16, when I was traveling home on my motorbike. I went through a tunnel that I've never seen before, and the next thing I knew, I was in what looked like a dentist's surgery with 15-foot tall alien men that looked very much like Dracula without the sharp teeth surrounding me. I had some sort of tube pushed down my throat, and whatever liquid they pumped into me turned me into one of their super soldiers, he said. And according to Kellett, he's been part of an alien army that has been fighting a race called Dragos, which are tall, scaly, they have heads like dragons. He describes his abduction place as a room covered in checks, like a chessboard. And additionally, he has fought in otherworldly beings battles across the UK, Europe, and South America, from what he claims. He and his alien comrades reportedly use a glass ball located in the middle of the room, which can transport them through space and time. He believes because of Space Wars, his body has generated chronic fatigue syndrome and post-traumatic stress disorder. He said, I've been gone for years and people don't realize, as 4 hours here is 4 years on the planets that I've been to. Obviously, he does not remember fighting, as his memory is always erased by aliens, he says. He further said that he struggled to remember the names of different ET races, but he drew their sketches to show how they looked like. Even though he hardly remembers anything, Mr. Kellett remembers being rushed to the hospital with a brain tumor. But there was nothing wrong with me, he said. I just remember leaving the hospital forgetting certain things like the names of the races and where it was that I'd traveled to. Kellett said he had been working on the case for many years and had been granted access to various official logs. Now, the Kellett UFO investigation. Kellett has been the leading UFO researcher for the famous Berwyn Mountains UFO incident for almost 30 years. This 1974 incident has been dubbed the Welsh Roswell, or Roswelsh. On Dave Schrader's radio show, Kellett and his fellow UK UFO journalist Stephen Lumley discussed the amazing 1974 encounter between UFOs and the Royal Navy, an ambush by RAF fighter jets and dozens of Army personnel helping to conceal the evidence of a downed UFO and what happens to the otherworldly visitors, what happened to them from the recovery. While the incident is famously linked to the Berwyn Mountains in Wales, Lumley recounted how the case actually began in the Irish Sea with a flotilla of Royal Navy ships working their way down from Scotland, seemingly in pursuit of something below the surface of the water. Along the way, he said, the ships were dropping photo flash bombs in order to illuminate whatever they were chasing. Kellett explained British aircraft were also flying overhead and instructing the ships where to drop additional flash bombs. And he said what they were doing was backing these submerged objects into a corner and surrounding them, he surmised, noting that the only escape for the UFOs would then be out of the sea. As such, 3 UFOs subsequently burst out of the water in an attempt to escape the scene, and according to Kellett, of the 3 UFOs, one is believed to have hidden in a lake and another crashed into the Berwyn Mountains, possibly due to an encounter with a Royal Air Force fighter jet. Numerous residents in the area, Lumley revealed, called the police and unequivocally reported a massive explosion as well as a UFO in the mountains. The 3rd UFO, Kellett said, was spotted by 5 men who saw it landing by the side of the road in a nearby town. From this craft, they claimed, 5 entities emerged, including 2 that appeared to be in some kind of distress. As the witnesses were watching this unfold, they were swarmed by heavily armed British military forces who ordered them out of the area immediately. Before leaving the scene, they saw the ETs being ushered into a vehicle to be taken to an unknown destination, as well as one soldier getting inside the UFO, and from there, Kellett marveled, other soldiers maneuvered the floating craft onto a flatbed truck. In light of the ease and precision with which they accomplished this task, he theorized that it was not their first recovery of a downed flying saucer. Isn't that amazing? And this is on News Tag Gale 24. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.